Well, it's a good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bet Goodwin Oxford Stadium, and thank you for joining us here on Oxford TV for the third of our live streams this season. Tonight sees the first of our meetings covering the SD Timo Carsell Cheetahs as they entertain the Scunthorpe Scorpions in the Maxicab Knockout Cup quarter-final. The Cheetahs, they had a good season in 2024, reaching the final of both Knockout Cup and Cab Direct League Championship, coming up short on both occasions to the dominant Poole Pirates last year. And Scunthorpe, well, they had a really good year as well. They lost out to Oxford in the playoff semis, to Poole in the KO Cup semis, and they got beaten the BSN Series final by Poole as well. So both teams looking good. They've kept the core of their sides from last year, and we're in for a terrific meeting. My name's Lee Kilby. I'm really looking forward to talking you through tonight's action, which is what the opening fixture for both of these sides. They've got riders that have been on track this season already, whether that's been in the early season, pre-season meetings, should we call them, the Ben Fun, the Peter Craven, etc., or whether they've raced for Premiership sides in the top league or a couple of National League meetings as well. So here we go, we're in the pits already tonight, and there's a man who last season was fantastic for the Cheetahs. He rode the vast majority of the season at number 2, Cameron Heeps, and he had a partnership like you can't believe with Sam Masters. The amount of 5-1s those two pulled off last year, 18-19 I think it was in the end. And there's a man we didn't necessarily expect to see this evening, Darryl RITCHINGS. He's in the side for Mitchell McDermott. He's a new signing for the Cheetahs, but unfortunately due to visa complications he hasn't quite got the rubber stamp on his visa. So Darryl is stepping in tonight. We can talk a bit more about Darryl as the show progresses. But yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's get straight on and have a look at the two sides. And what we'll do is we will start with, we'll go to the away side, the Scunthorpe Scorpions, and they've brought into their side number 1 Stevie Worrall, a man that needs no introduction. He's really experienced at all levels in the UK. He'll be a really good out-and-out number 1 for them. Number 2, young man Luke Harrison. He comes up into the main body of the team. He's riding for that difficult number 2 berth. Number 3, Simon Lambert, a man who's rode many years for the Scorpions and in British Speedway in general. He can on his night be a game changer for them. Connor Mountain, he's at number 4. He's on a 5.65 average this evening. Jake Allen, he goes into that number 5 position, and again, Jake on his night, he can really turn a few victories in, and they'll be looking for him to do that tonight from that tough number 5 spot. And down at reserve, a couple of brothers, Declan Kennedy, new to the UK. He'll be making his debut for the Scorpions tonight, and his debut in British Speedway. And Zaine Kennedy, his brother. Good to see Zaine back in the side. He picks up that number 7 race jacket. And David Howe there in full Scunthorpe Scorpions gear. He's not wearing that tonight, but he is their team manager. And earlier on in the pits, I managed to grab a quick interview with him. Brilliant, Scunthorpe team manager Dave Howe. Good to see you, mate. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. You enjoying the role? You enjoying the team manager bit?
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't have come back for a second season if I wasn't. But yeah, it's different. Obviously, being a rider and then a mechanic and now a team manager, they're all different roles. But yeah, I enjoyed them all differently. A bit nerve-wracking and learnt a lot last year. So yeah, see if we can do a little bit better this year.
It was a successful season for you guys last year. I know you didn't end up with a pot to show for it, but you were fighting on all fronts all season.
Yeah, it was just a little disappointing. We seemed to run out of steam. We just couldn't cover for Tofty at the end of the year with the guests and whatnot, and it was just a little bit disappointing. We came here in, I think this was the playoff semi-final.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
After losing at home because we only had 5 or 6 riders, and we put up a really good show, but we just didn't have the firepower in Heat 13 and 15 to compete with these, and it kind of just. The year what was a brilliant year went out with a bit of a fizzle, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was a similar story for Oxford once they came up against Poole. But in terms of your side this year, the makeup's pretty much the same. You obviously got a couple of new faces. Stephen at number 1 is massive. But to keep the core, you must be hoping that their boys can continue where they were at last year and have another good one. Yeah,
there's a slight little bit of unknown this year. I mean, I pretty much knew what I was going to get from every rider last year, so I was quietly confident we'd be there or thereabouts. Yeah. Obviously, the balance is slightly different. Luke starts in the main body of the side, and I think he'll probably find it a little bit difficult on away tracks to start with. He improved every track he went to last year, but the Luke we see at Scunthorpe is not the Luke the away fans see. I don't think he'll struggle at home. But obviously we haven't only heard about Declan we haven't seen him in action yet. And yeah, new country, everything can be a bit overwhelming. So it might take him a while to settle in. But I'm hoping with Zaine and Luke and hopefully Declan, we'll have a bit more movement.
Yeah,
you know, where last year we had the same reserves all year, and so I'm hoping a bit more movement within the team, and nothing against any number one last year, but Steve is somebody who I can put in Heat 13 or a tactical or Heat 15, and I'm confident 90% of the time he's going to make a start. So it gives us that, you know, and the way he rode Saturday and Sunday at those two big meetings shows he's hungry and happy. So, you know, we've got an out-and-out number one, and you know, I think we'll be strong at reserve. Certainly with Zaine, and hopefully if Declan can get going, then we'll have them three riders around. We'll pushing to get into the main body. You know, Luke, Zaine, and Declan.
And there's such a value in having that situation where you can get somebody out of reserve into the main body to give somebody that's in the main body not necessarily doing as well as they want drop down into reserve. That's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Luke he's not a lad who suffers from lack of self-confidence. He's a very confident young man, but you know, it can weigh you down. It can be hard. Number two,
it's a tough spot. Eh?
It is a tough spot, and I've kind of put him there to shield him with Stevie, to be honest. It probably would have been easier for me to put him probably at 4, but then if Simon doesn't have a brilliant away match and Luke doesn't, I'm very vulnerable in that position. So I've stuck him with Stevie for now. But the rate Luke improved last year, if you can, you're confident. At home, certainly towards the end of last year, I was putting him in Heat 13s and stuff, and he was, you know, I think it took Scott Nicholls 3 laps for him to pass him round Scunthorpe. So he is improving a lot, but I don't want to knock his confidence. So hopefully, like I say, a bit of movement. If he has a tough April, so to speak, then he might be at reserve in May, and then he can get his confidence back.
Dave, that's terrific. That's awesome insight. We wish you all the best. We hope you have a good season, and we'll catch up with you later on.
Thank you very much.
Top man.
Cheers.
Yeah, really good to chat to David Howe there. He's obviously done a lot of thinking about the side, which is great to see, and he was confident that his Scunthorpe team this year can put it to the Cheetahs tonight. And there we go. There's our home side, the Oxford Cheetahs this evening. Man that needs no introduction again at number 1, out and out number 1, Sam Masters. He takes over the captaincy with no Scott Nicholls this season. Number 2, new name for us here at Oxford, Jonas KNUDSEN. He's been in the country with Redcar and Berwick. He moves across here to Oxford this season and will be looking to improve on his form from last year. Jordan Jenkins at 3. He's been riding really well for Ipswich in the meetings he's had so far this season, and he'll be looking to carry that on this evening. Dan Gilkes, a man who made a couple of guest appearances at the end of last year, clearly did enough to warrant a place in the side. He comes in at number 4. Cameron Heeps, we talked about at the top of the show. He was at 2 a lot for last season. He steps into the heat leader role at 5. 6, Darryl RITCHINGS. He comes in for Mitchell McDermott, who, like we said earlier on, has got a visa. Just hasn't had his rubber stamp on the visa yet, so he will sit this one out tonight. And Luke Killeen, man who rode in all 3 of the Oxford sides last season. He's a cheetah and he's a spire for this season, and a man with huge amounts of potential, who Oxford are really going to look after. Peter Schroeck, team manager, again, he looks after all 3 sides. He was busy earlier on, so what I did when I was in the pits is I managed to get hold of the new captain and the number 1, Sam Masters. I'm joined by Sam Masters, captain of the team this year. Sam, good to see you, mate.
Good to see you too, mate.
Ready to go?
Well, happy to be back. It's the first one. Feels like we've been here for a little while and not done a team meeting for the Cheetahs yet. So, yeah, we're all keen. Hopefully we get off to a good start, but Scunny's obviously got a strong team as well, and it's not going to be easy. No, it's not.
In terms of last season, really successful first year back, but without the silverware to show for it. Came close.
We had a really good year when you look back at it. Second place is hard to take, obviously, but second place in Knockout Cup, second place in the league, second place in the pairs, probably something else we got second in, I'm not sure, but we were a bit of a bridesmaid year. But when you look at it as a whole over the year, it is pretty successful to go all the way to the end like that, especially against Poole. They always put a strong team together, and they were very strong right at the end. But we had the team to win, but it wasn't meant to be. Everything needs to click at the end for you to be the league champions, obviously, and just didn't happen. But another year we've got to look forward now, and that's in the past.
And the makeup of the side's a bit different. Obviously, no Scott. I think the plan was for Scott to ride, but obviously because of the injuries and everything, so you've got a bit of a different makeup of the team. Puts a bit more pressure and the influence you and Cam will have to bring to the side?
Yeah, we're really going to miss Scotty, you know. It's I've got some big boots to fill as captain, and I don't think anyone's going to be as good a captain in the league as Scotty, so I'm not sure I can do as good as a job as him there, but I'll try and step it up a bit on the track. But yeah, it's not going to be easy without him. The knowledge he brings to the team and the experience is, you can't buy it. So it's going to be tough, obviously, without him. But we've got a team of young fellas that want to do good, and they're going to be trying really hard. So first one tonight. Hopefully we can all find our feet a bit. It's a long season, and we've got to go out there and enjoy it.
It's one of those sides, there's lots of potential. Jonas, Luke, Dan, there's lots of potential in this team for them to grow. If they do that, you could, again, have a terrifically successful season.
Yeah, all the kids in our team are really talented, actually. It's no one goes out there and flukes anything. So I think we've got a good bunch of boys. We just all got to step it up if we want to go like we did, successful like last year, and including myself. So, not going to be easy. We're going to have a little bit of pressure on ourselves to do better, but you always have a little bit of pressure. So we're going for it. We're out there, going to have some fun, and that's what it's all about.
Beautiful. Broad shoulders, mate. You can handle it. You'll be fine.
Exactly.
Have a terrific one. We'll catch up with you later on.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sam. Yeah, the new captain there, Sam Masters, and he stood at the front of the side there with Peter Schroeck. And I do disagree with Sam on one thing there when he says he's not going to be as good a captain as Scotty, because I'm sure he will bring plenty to that position. And every captain does it slightly differently, and I'm sure Sam will do a sterling job in that position. So the two sides make their way out onto the track. See, I am a big fan of an away kind of shirt or jacket or something for the away side to wear, because as we can see as the boys are walking across here, these suits are incredibly similar. We're obviously going to get the helmet colours, that's a given, we know that's going to be different, but I just think it would be nice if there was something on there where you had a slightly different away shirt, but that's just my opinion. Both boys, sets of boys looking really good though, race suits are looking nice and sharp, and two very good teams that had really good seasons last year. And like David said there, and Sam, they'll both want to start building on them, and they'll want to be pushing at the top end of the league for sure, and try and get a good cup run. One of them will bail out at this early stage. We shall see who that is. So number one there, Stevie Worrall. He's back in the sport after a period of illness last year where he couldn't race. Terrific to see him. Had a really nice catch up with him in the pits earlier on. Collection of cheaters there. Masters and Cam Heeps. What a dynamite duo they were last year. They really did hammer in plenty of 5-1s for the Cheetahs. And they'll get that opportunity again in 13 and potentially 15 as the season starts. And if Peter Schroeck has got to chuck the tactical in at any point when the league season starts, he'll be able to do so. So, two captains will be interviewed. Simon Lambert for the away side. Again, another rider I've got a lot of time for. Simon, terrific guy, been in the sport for many years now. A really good speedway man, shall we say. This is his 21st season in the sport, Simon. He's always a 100% type of rider. He has dabbled with the top league in his career. Has always been a really sound rider at this level. He's just never really been able to grab hold of that opportunity in the top league. Maybe hoping for a good return. So it's his 8th year as a Scorpion this year, so he's really given that club some fantastic service. So I'm just going to try and listen in and see if I can gauge the coin toss here. Simon, as the away captain, will call it. So, interesting, there's a twist on the norm. So Sam Masters and Oxford won the toss, but they deferred it to heat 15 at the back end of the meeting. And then Simon Lambert with a quick conflab with his number one, Stevie Worrall. I think they went for 1 and 3 in heat number 1. So the Scorpions, they will take 1 and 3. And again, I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted here. The gate positions are set throughout the meeting. And the rider that wins the toss gets to decide how he wants to play that. And Sam Masters. A lot of the sides do take the advantage early on, and they take heat 1 and choose what they want from the outset. But tonight, Oxford and Sam Masters have gone against the grain. So there's Steve, terrific rider. Rode in Grand Prix, of course, finished second to Dan Bewley in the British final. That qualified him for the GP that year. He will be an excellent number 1 for Scunthorpe, no question about that. So the riders are just getting intro to the crowd. We normally go 7 up to 1. Shout out for Luke Killeen. Found some speed for the Spires last week when he'd had a couple of last places. Got some points on the board for them. Darryl RITCHINGS. Now Darryl's a man returning to the sport after many years. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. Cam Heeps, not pressure on Cam because he can shoulder that for sure, but a bit more expectancy this year to score in this Cheetahs lineup. Dan Gilkes, Jordan Jenkins, they'll make up the engine room of the team in there, 3 and 4. Jonas KNUDSEN, really nice guy, Jonas. Like we said again, Berwick he's been at, Redcar he's been at. And he'll be hoping that he can really lay some foundations here for the home side. And then it was Sam Masters, which you've already spoken to Sam. That's the home side. So as per, the riders get to put in a couple of laps, couple of starts, just to get a feel for the surface. They can't do practice starts if they're not wearing helmets. That's the reason the guys all come out with their helmets. No helmets on parade means just a nice slow wave lap to the crowd. So if you are a Cheetah or an Oxford fan and you've watched our streams before, great to have you back on. Good to have you with us. If you're a fan of Scunthorpe, thank you very much for joining us. We hope the meeting goes the way that you want it to go, and obviously the Oxford fans hope it goes the way they want it to go. And if you're a Speedway fan in general, I think we're the only meeting on this evening. So whether you just fancied a fix, you'd like to have a beer or a cup of tea, thank you very, very much indeed for joining us, and we sincerely hope you enjoy the action tonight. I'll try and talk you through it as best I can with an impartial view, but we are Oxford TV and we do want to see the home side do well. So that's the parade laps over with. Scan of the start there. Dan Gilkes, last man in, last man standing on the parade lap. Dan did so well at the end of last season. He came in as a guest replacement, and unfortunately Oxford season tailed off and they didn't get any silverware when they were in a couple of finals there at the end. But Dan really impressed with effort, enthusiasm. Is almost like he was a full-time member of the side, and I would imagine that his signature was an easy one for him to make and for the club to make, especially when they knew that Scott Nichols wasn't going to be in a position to start the season. I think Dan would have been the first kind of go-to man in the rebuild of the side. So both sides have kept 4 riders from last year. So there's 3 rider changes for both. For Scunthorpe, Michael Palmtoft, Kyle Howarth and Nathan Ablett, they've moved out of the side. And it's Steve Worrall and the Kennedy brothers, Zaine back in and Declan Kennedy. They're in for Scunthorpe. And for the home side, yeah, Scott Nichols, Ashton Belgian. He's made his way up out the side at this level. And Henry Atkins started the season last year for the Cheetahs, and then Adam Roynan came in. And he joined the side, and they've been replaced by Jonas KNUDSEN. It will be Mitchell McDermott once his visa's all sorted out, and of course Dan Gilkes there. So the core of the side's the same. Easier for the team managers then. They know what they're getting from the riders, but Dave Howe in his interview, he did say, look, there's a little bit of the unknown as he steps in with this side. I mean, I do like it when you get a rider like Mitchell McDermott for the home side and you get Declan Kennedy for the away side. It's great when you get that new rider stepping in, because you want to see how they settle, how they do, how they take to new tracks. So it'll be interesting to it's a shame we haven't got Mitchell tonight, but Darryl RITCHINGS, he had a terrible accident when he was riding for Swindon. There's Mr. Godfrey. I won't say what he looks like there, somebody at Star Wars. Good to see him here. Had a chat with Rob earlier on. With his captain, Simon Lambert. Simon agrees with whatever was said there. Our referee tonight is Wayne Jarvis. Wayne will have his finger on the button. We've got the 2-minute clock on the centre green. That'll keep the meeting moving nice and swiftly. There's Jake Allen. Danyon Humes in there on the spanners for somebody. There's Danyon. Started the season with Sheffield in the top league. So our 2 minutes are on. We are almost off and running on both of these teams' seasons. The Ellie Rose Travel Scunthorpe Scorpions and the SD Timo Car Sales Oxford Cheetahs, powered by County Plumbing Supplies. Some good sponsors in Speedway. Very grateful to have them. We are going to kick in with a great Heat 1 with Sam Masters and Steve Worrall. Straight, and we'll keep you on top of gate stats as the meeting goes on as well. I'll do like a stat. I'm a bit of a stato. Always enjoy seeing how the gates develop and how things change. And obviously with Oxford getting the pick later on in the meeting, they'll be able to assess that and make their call as the meeting ticks on. So we are a minute away. And there is our lineup for heat number 1. On the inside for the Scunthorpe Scorpions in yellow will be Luke Harrison, who's the last one to pull in. Next to him, debut for Jonas KNUDSEN in blue for Oxford. Steve Worrall, he'll be in white off of gate 3 for Scunthorpe. And Sam Masters, he will be in red off of gate 4 for the home side. Bet Goodwin, they are our sponsors of heat number 1. They'll be hoping that Sam Masters and Jonas KNUDSEN can jump out, make the start. Luke Harrison rode it a couple of times last year, knows the circuit quite well, did well in the under-19s. Let's see what this brings. Heat number 1. Tapes up and away we go, and Jonas KNUDSEN's made a great gate off for 2, as has Sam Masters. Pretty condensed going into the first, second turn there, but the Cheetahs come out on top. Sam Masters red. Keep an eye on Steve Worrall, he's going deep already out there, not a lot there at the moment, but that line will build. Jonas KNUDSEN sat in second at the moment, Steve Worrall's putting it to him. Jonas just rides that inside line nice and tidily. Sam Masters out front, Jonas KNUDSEN in second, Steve Worrall working his socks off in third. Just tailed away a little bit at the back is Luke Harrison at the moment. A couple of laps in, Sam Masters is looking good out front, knows this track very well. The second place is the battle. Steve's gone in quite hot in there. Jonas just riding a tidy inside line, sticking to that curb early on, which is the norm. Steve, on the other hand, has got no option but to move a little bit wider to try something to get round the outside of him, because Jonas is on the curb, there's no way through. Sam Masters is going to take the win, and it looks like it is going to be a second place for Jonas KNUDSEN. And that is a terrific start to the season for the Oxford Cheetahs, with a big 5-1. In heat number 1. Tapes the flag for Sam Masters, made a good gate off of 4, got over the top to join his teammate. And then Jonas KNUDSEN had the speed, rode a really sensible inside line, nothing silly early on. Looked in control. So there we have it, 5-1 opening heat for the Oxford Cheetahs. Sam Masters with a win, Jonas KNUDSEN in second. Steve Worrall tries he might, couldn't get up there to challenge Jonas KNUDSEN and Luke Harrison at the back. So 5-1, heat number 1, great starts for the home side. A little bit of work to do for the away side. Here we can see it from the tapes again. Steve misses the gate in white off of 3, Stevie Worrall. Keep an eye on Jonas KNUDSEN in blue. He makes a great trap and gets over the top of Luke Harrison. And then Sam's just in a great position there just to coast all the way around the outside, join him up top. And then Sam just pulled away for the win. And this is where the battle is going to come. That line that Steve's on there in white, Steve Worrall, that will develop as the night goes on. We've seen that this season already, that line will develop and there will be a ride around that fence. first couple of meetings, the boys have been very close to that quite early on in the meeting. So it'll be interesting to see if that line does develop. So great start to the meeting for the Cheetahs. Puts a tiny bit of pressure on the away side's reserves here. And we're a little bit unknown really with Declan Kennedy making his debut and Zaine returning. And he'll be up against that man there in blue. Killeen, and he'll be joined by Darryl RITCHINGS. So there is our lineup for heat number 2. It will be Darryl RITCHINGS off the inside in red for Oxford. Next to him will be Declan Kennedy in white for the away side Scunthorpe. Luke Killeen in blue off of gate number 3. And Zaine Kennedy, the brother of Declan, he'll be in yellow off of gate 4 for Scunthorpe. Keith Cook Constructions, there are sponsors of heat number 2. Sam Masters off of gate 4, he gave us the winner in heat number 1. Zaine Kennedy, he finds himself off of 4. You've got to make the start off of 4 to get over the top of the other 3. If not, you're looking to make an outside line, which early on might not necessarily be there until we get that build-up of dirt outside. So it is Darryl RITCHINGS in red for the home side. He's in to replace Mitchell McDermott. He's had one meeting so far, Darryl RITCHINGS. That was for Birmingham in the NDL Trophy, where he picked up 8 points at Perry Bar. He's done some laps in press and practice, but that is it. Let's see what heat number 2 brings us. Green light is on, start marshal away. Up goes the tapes, and it looks like a good start for the outside. Great start from Zaine Kennedy. Oxford pack in first, second and third at the moment. Luke Killeen takes up the chase. Darryl RITCHINGS in third. And Declan Kennedy at the back at the moment. So the battle, Zaine Kennedy out front. Luke Killeen on his tail in second place. Darryl RITCHINGS comfortable in third. Declan Kennedy trying, but just drifting across the corner there a little bit in 2. So, great start for Zaine Kennedy. He finds himself out front. Luke Killeen tucked into second. Darryl RITCHINGS has just got to be careful as Declan looks up the inside of him there. No room, Darryl RITCHINGS holds that second position. So we've got 2 races in 1 here. There's a battle out front. Zaine Kennedy holding off Luke Killeen with a lap to go. And in third, Darryl RITCHINGS currently holding off Declan Kennedy. Wow, Declan's putting a big move there. Can he carry it on? No, Darryl RITCHINGS back up the inside. So with 2 corners to go, it looks like Zaine Kennedy might hold on for the win over Luke Killeen, which he does. And Darryl RITCHINGS, he holds on to third from the ever battling Declan Kennedy in 4th place. Busy heat, that one. Start to finish, 2 races in 1, good entertainment. And a shared heat. That is what the away side will need. Zaine Kennedy on form. So there's your confirmed finish. With Zaine Kennedy with the win in yellow. It was Luke Killeen second in blue. Darryl RITCHINGS third in red for the home side. And it was brother Deck that came home in 4th spot. So a 3-3 scoreline in that one. 8-4. The progressive. A good heat, that one. 2 heats in 1. Zaine Kennedy showing what form I think we can expect from him at reserve. I think he can bring them a lot of points. He made this in same as Sam Masters. He made the gate, he gets over the top, and once you're over the top there, look, your line is yours. The Cheetahs packed in initially there in second and third. Luke Killeen took up the chase of Zaine out front, and Darryl RITCHINGS did well to hold off Declan Kennedy. And considering, it's his first time here, he did incredibly well to keep on the back wheel of Darryl RITCHINGS and put him under a lot of pressure. But Darryl did extremely well to hold on to that 3rd place and pick up a point for the home side. So we are 8-4 after 2 heats here. He's already got that 2 minutes on. Jordan Jenkins there in red already at tapes. He'll be joined by Dan Gilkes. And for the away side, it will be Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain. So here is our lineup for heat number 3. Liquid Screed are our sponsors. Simon Lambert, he'll be off the inside in white for Scunthorpe. Dan Gilkes blue, gate number 2 for Oxford. Connor Mountain yellow for gate number 3, and Jordan Jenkins in red for Oxford off of gate 4. Jordan Jenkins has already ridden here this season for Ipswich in the top league. He's at 4 points that day, I believe. I'll double check that in a minute, but I think he did return 5 points. No, it was 4. I take it back, sorry Jordan. It was 4 points. So 2 winners off of gate 4. That bodes well for Jordan Jenkins if he can make the trap. you get your wheels in line and get over the top, you can make the start for 4. Here we go then. Heat number 3. Jordan Jenkins, Dan Gilkes, Simon Lambert, Connor Mountain. Takes go up on heat number 3 and Dan Gilkes get drive up into that corner. Simon Lambert across the corner, almost took out his teammate Connor Mountain there, and just keep an eye, Jordan Jenkins around the outside of Connor Mountain into second place. And the heat settles down a tiny bit. Dan Gilkes out front, Jordan Jenkins in second. It's Connor Mountain in third, and Simon Lambert, who got that first and second turn slightly wrong, he's just cut adrift away a little bit at the back in 4th. So this race a little bit spread out early doors now. Dan Gilkes looking in control out front, Jordan Jenkins second, Connor Mountain in third, and Simon Lambert at the back. The Cheetahs did the work on that opening lap. And with a lap to go, the race is pretty strung out now, pretty settled down. But what you've got to do is, if you're not in a scoring position, especially for the Scorpions, you're just learning the track. What can you change in your next one? So it's a takes the flag for Dan Gilkes, great 3 points for him. Jordan Jenkins in second. Third place was Connor Mountain, and it's another 5-1 to the home side. Giving me much to talk about there after the first lap. Oxford won't care about that as they register another 5-1 here. And again, as we know, they're over 2 legs, so Oxford are going to want to try and build up a lead to take with them, and at the moment it's going their way. Dan Gilkes with the win, Jordan Jenkins in second, Connor Mountain third for Scunthorpe, and then Simon Lambert at the back. Another 5-1, that makes the progressive Oxford 13 and Scunthorpe 5. You can see a replay from the start. Dan Gilkes does make the gate off for 2. I thought for a moment that Connor Mountain was going to be in the mix. Whoa, they both got in a tiny bit of trouble there, both the Scorpions boys. Both seem to lock up a little bit, and because Connor had locked up, that is what gives Jordan Jenkins the impetus down the back straight to get over the top. There's our referee, Wayne Jarvis, for this evening. His finger on the button, hasn't had anything to do. We hope he doesn't have much to do this evening. Let's hope he has a relatively straightforward evening. The riders give us the entertainment and nothing else. But he is moving with those 2 minutes as the riders come out for heat number 4. We're going to see Cameron Heeps for the first time and Jake Allen. If we're sticking to programme, we'll see Luke Killeen in blue, which I think we are, and it'll be Zaine Kennedy in yellow. Zaine number 7, Luke number 7. So Zaine Kennedy, yellow, he'll find himself off gate number 1 in this one. Luke Killeen, blue, gate number 2. Jake Allen, white. First time we're seeing Jake tonight. He'll be in white off of gate number 3. And Cameron Heeps in red for Oxford off of gate number 4. Nuffield Health are sponsors of heat number 4. And again, I say this every time, and I always get it wrong. It can develop into 2 heats, this one. Now you've got the heat leader number 5 coming out for the first time, and then you've got the 2 reserves. But if you've got a reserve that's on form, whether it's the home or the away rider, and they can get in the mix, we have seen them jump out and win this heat. But a lot of the time it can develop into 2 battles between the heat leaders and the number 7, or the reserves. Now let's see what this one brings us. 13-5, Scunthorpe will already be looking at David Howe. Is he going to have to make some changes early on to try and bring that back in? They won't want to let that lead get too far away from them. They ran them close both times here last year. There was a couple of really close meetings here when the 2 sides met. 53-34 was the first one, and 49-41. Let's see what heat number 4 brings us. Takes go up and away we go. Whoa! Zaine Kennedy lifts all the way there into the first turn, but still manages almost to get to the turn first. Keep an eye on Cameron Heeps back up the inside into 3rd place. Luke Killeen just going across the corner a little bit there. That might give Cam Heeps the opportunity to come into 2nd. Now the question is, do the Oxford boys stick here together, or do they try and chase down Jake Allen, who's made a great gate and got himself out front? Luke Killeen's looking pretty quick in 2nd, and he's putting that back wheel out in that dirt. He's looking fast, Luke. He's looking now back up the inside, has to just turn that off a little bit with Jake Allen out front. Zaine Kennedy's got that wrong and he's dropped to the back now. So it is the battle out front. Luke Killeen chasing down Jake Allen. Cam Heeps tucked into 3rd place. Lap to go. Jake's riding a nice line. Luke's really putting it in there. He's really throwing it at Jake Allen. Jake's had to work hard to stay out front here, but as always pretty much looked in control, as he will take the flag from Luke Killeen and Cam Heeps. But the front 3 very close there the entire race. But it is a win for Jake Allen, and it's a 3-3. That will just stem that flow a little bit and keep the score with the same gap. Jake Allen comes around to take the plaudits. Well done to him. And there's your confirmed score. Jake Allen with the win, Luke Killeen in 2nd, Cameron Heeps in 3rd, so the Oxford Cheetahs tucked into 2nd and 3rd. That gave it a 3-3 scoreline, making it 16-8 after the first 4 heats. See it from the start again. Zaine Kennedy on the back wheel all the way into the first turn. Still seems to get there, but obviously the boys are already over the top of him there. But Jake Allen, as the others have done, you get that nice run around the outside. Luke Killeen just straightened up there a tiny bit. Thankfully he didn't catch the back wheel of Jake Allen. And then it's a case of, do they just pack in the Cheetahs, or if it's Scunthorpe, if you're in that 2nd and 3rd, you pack in and just take the 3-3, or do you go for broke and try and hunt down Jake Allen, as it was in that one. But it was a close race. All 3 riders pretty much across the finish line at the same time. And as is always the case, well, that's been the case this season. We've got 3 different gate positions giving us winners in the first 4 heat. That's Luke Harrison. Tough call for Luke at number 2, and David Howe did allude to that when I talked to him earlier on before the meeting. He said, look, we know that's going to be tough for him. We just want him to learn. And if he makes a start, he'll be in amongst it. We saw him take 1 reserve ride in the Championship, the Riders' Championship at Scunthorpe last week. And yes, it's his home track, he knows it very well, but boy, he was on the pace. And in that one ride, he did push the 2 boys in front of him all the way. And picked up a point. There we go. Then nothing off of 1 so far in terms of race wins. A couple off of 2, and then a win both off of 1 and 4. I think we've got 2 winners off of 4. Which was heat 1 and 2. There might be a couple of wins off of gate number 4. It was 2 off of 4. But 3 out of the 4 gates so far, giving us something. I suppose, well, just off of gate 1, you've got to make that start off of gate 1. So Marsh is just talking to Jonas KNUDSEN there. And Peter Schroeck, well, yeah, 5-1 in the opening heat. He'll be hoping that these 2 can develop that relationship that Cameron Heeps had last season, because they were dynamite. They got away 5-1s as well, but they really plundered some 5-1s at home. I think one meeting they got 3. All 3 of their races were 5-1. So not riding in the top league, Cam. He's just riding out for Oxford at the minute, and that's the incentive for riders at this level. If you're just riding for the one side, Dan Gilkes is another great example. You want to put on a good show, you want to win your heats at this level. There's Dan Gilkes. Because that will make promoters, because as we all know, sadly part of the sport is injuries, and that does happen. And you want to be in that prime spot if an opportunity comes up. And Dan and Cam, they're 2 good examples of that. Jake Allen, another one. There's a clutch cooler that will come out after every race, after every restart. You get the clutch cooler on there because those clutches do get so hot. There's the ignition box, you can see Dan Gilkes logo on. All the lights on telling you we're in action. Yeah, those clutches get so hot at the start, so every time there's an opportunity to get that clutch cooler on, you'll see that. Even when there's let's say there's a tape, something happens with the tapes, the riders go back round, park outside the pits. That engine cooler, that clutch cooler will be on straight away. Cut out, so that goes on the rider's wrist. Again, I'm probably preaching to the converted here, but a lot of you will know this. But the rider will put his hand through the cutout there, and then if he comes away from the bike, it just clicks off and kills the engine. And you can see the little cliplet that will pop out. So what we'll do, we've just got the grader out at the moment, and we're possibly putting a little bit of water down as well. Let's take in a heat from one of our streamed meetings so far this season with the Oxford Spires. Then Luke Killeen, he's going to be for the inside for Oxford in the blue helmet colour. Nobody off of gate 2, Jordan Jenkins excluded. Gate 3, Eric Riss in red for Oxford, and Danny King white for Ipswich. He'll go from the outside. Here we go, heat number 8. Green light on, tapes go up and away we go. Eric's made another great gate, as has Danny. What can Danny King do around those? He's got himself ahead of Luke Killeen and into second place. Luke Killeen looks like he's quicker than he has been. He's going deeper into turns 3 and 4 to try and get that outside run. So I think you've got a bit of a race on here for second and third. Luke Killeen's putting out a little bit wider and he's looking quick. Danny King's going to have to be really careful in this one. He's going to have to keep looking over his shoulder. Does he stick or does he twist? Does he try and get up and make a move on Eric? I tell you what, he's got enough on his plate trying to keep Luke Killeen behind. Adam Ellis did it in the last heat. Luke Killeen's done it. That's a fantastic move from Luke Killeen. Excellent performance for him. Can Danny King repay the favour at the inside? No, he can't. 1 lap to go. Eric Riss out front. Comfortable for him. Luke Killeen hasn't scored a point all season. That is the way to get your first points on the board. Round the final 2 turns. Win for Eric Riss, but let's talk Luke Killeen. Superb second place. Danny King couldn't hold on to that 3rd place. Luke Killeen looked so quick in that one. Fantastic performance for him. It's a big 5-1 for Oxford. That brings the scores back to 24 points apiece, and it's game on. Yeah, they were Luke's first points of the season, and his head hadn't dropped. He'd run a few last places, but nothing had changed in his mannerisms, the way he was attacking, the way he was doing, and that was a fantastic way to get his first points of the season. And come from the back on a ride of Danny King's experience. And then in his next heat, if you didn't clock it, he made some changes to the bike for that one, and it showed how fast he was going. And then he was up against Jason Doyle in his next one, and they had a collision, and Luke got excluded as the cause of the stoppage. But at that point, Luke was looking really quick, and if they hadn't collided and gotten past him, he might have even lowered the colours of Jason Doyle. Although Jason, I'll tell you, he would have held on comfortably. But good to see Luke back in the mix. That's what we wanted to see. He's carried that on tonight with a couple of solid places. And again, when you're riding in the Premiership and the Championship, and your Premiership meetings come first and you're new to that level, that's tough because you're essentially going up against, there's no easy rides. You're going up against, in air brackets, a better calibre rider at that level. So to get a run of Championship meetings here for the Cheetahs, that is what he needs, and riders similar to him in that position, because they will pick up a few more points, and it's confidence building. It's a confidence game when you're on it and you're riding well and you're picking up points. That just starts to flow. When you're getting last places, you can't see the wood for the tree sometimes. That's when it gets quite difficult. So yeah, these Championship meetings will come at a great time now for Luke, especially because he picked up a couple of points in that last one. He'll be hoping to build on that. So yeah, I kind of touched on it before that heat started. Last year, one of the meetings got away from, the league meeting got away from Scunthorpe. That was 53-34 here last season. But when they met in the playoff semi-final, it was 49-41. It was really close. It was a much closer meeting and a great effort from Scunthorpe that day. And Sam Masters and Cameron Heeps, they were top scoring, and for the away side, Jake Allen on both occasions was up there. So they've still got those big hitters in the sides. I'm really hoping they can big hit tonight. So we're moving on. Referee's got 2 minutes on already. We are going to go into a heat number 5, sponsored by Teng Tools. Here's Luke Harrison, come back out for his second ride. He will take his rides with Steve Worrall. And they're going to be up against Jordan Jenkins and Dan Gilkes, 3 and 4. It's the engine room of the side, those 3 and 4 positions. Jordan Jenkins and Dan Gilkes for the home side, and Simon Lambert and Connor Martin for the away side. So it was an open heat 5-1 for Dan and Jordan. Steve Worrall popped out the start. Couldn't hold on in that opening heat. Ended up on being on the back end of a 5-1. So let's see what heat 5 brings. Jordan Jenkins red off the inside for Oxford. Next to him, Luke Harrison yellow for Scunthorpe. Dan Gilkes winner first time out blue for Oxford Gate 3. And Steve Worrall 1 point from his opening ride. He will be in white off the outside for Scunthorpe. We've seen a couple of good starts from Gate 4. If you can get over the top, you can get a run around that first turn. That is what Steve Worrall will be looking to do here. And yeah, we touched on it. This is only going to be half time once this meeting's finished tonight. The second leg will be back up at Scunthorpe on Friday, May the 23rd. So they've got a bit of a while until the second leg. But Oxford will be hoping to build up a bit of an advantage to take up there, because Scunthorpe are going to be powerful on their home circuit, and Scunthorpe on the flip side, I want to keep this as close as they possibly can and reel a few points back in, so they've got a good shot at Oxford when they come. So heat number 5, 16-8. Up go the tapes. Oh, it's a great start. Keep an eye on Steve Worrall. He got a bit more drive coming up towards the first turn, but the Oxford boys made a fantastic start there, and they've got themselves out front. Dan Gilkes again leading the way. Jordan Jenkins in second. Steve Worrall into third at the minute. Steve's going to want more than a third place from this one after a third in his opening. He won't want to be on the back end of 2.51s, but Dan Gilkes is looking super quick out front. Super stylish, super quick. They've all got that back wheel on that line, as you can see, coming around turn 4. But I tell you what, this is looking ominous in this one for the away side. Dan Gilkes is not going to get touched. Bar a mechanical failure, that is a win for him there. 1 lap to go. Jordan Jenkins in second. Stevie's there or thereabouts. He's going to look to put it in here. He's just gone across the corner there a little bit. Can he make a long back straight? Or is Jordan Jenkins there got enough of a gap to hold on? I think he probably does. Dan Gilkes, hats off, that's a win for you. Second place again, second 5-1 of the evening for these two. Engine room of the side is doing everything they need it to do. Scunthorpe, wow, they're just going to be looking at this now. Is it 21.9? It's starting to look a little bit worrying. Carbon copy of their first race for Dan Gilkes and Jordan Jenkins. And unfortunately, same story for Steve Worrall and Luke Harrison there in third and fourth. But Dan Gilkes out front. Jordan Jenkins, he picked up second place. Steve Worrall third. Luke Harrison at the back. 5-1 to Oxford Cheetahs in that one. 10 Tools are our sponsors. And it's now 21 points to 9. Oxford boys flew out the start. Keep an eye on red and blue here. I don't think Luke spun up a little bit then, didn't, and I think he actually made it look like they made a better start than they did, but you know, they got out the traps. Look at Dan Gilkes, he's already home and dry. I was just keeping an eye on Steve in fourth there, whether he could get up and challenge Jordan Jenkins in second, but just didn't seem to have the speed. The wide line round 3 and 4 develops early on here, and that's where the riders go. There's me, there's my vantage point. Best view in the house, as I always say every week. But rounds 3 and 4 last season, we saw it so many times. There's some work that's been done to turns 3 and 4, but 1 and 2. But you could get the outside run there. Whereas what we've seen in the opening couple of meetings for the Spires is that inside line is working really nicely. So if you ride that curb, you can get a really nice run off of 2, coming out down that back straight. So here we go. Jake Allen, he's out in this one, he's waiting for a bike. There it is. He's got 1 minute and 20, so he's got loads of time on his side. The other 3 are already at tapes. Declan Kennedy, Sam Masters and Jonas KNUDSEN. So Zaine Kennedy, he won heat number 2, but Declan, he ran a last, but looked okay. He's on the back wheel of Darryl RITCHINGS in that race. So we'll be hoping he can transfer that into this heat. Real Mini Company, they're our sponsors. Jake Allen, white off the inside, winner first time out. Sam Masters, red, gate 2, winner first time out. Declan Kennedy, he'll be in yellow off of gate number 3. And Jonas KNUDSEN, paid win in his first race, he will be in blue off of gate number 4. 21.9, what can Scunthorpe do? Where's that change going to come? You know, you're looking for where you can get an advantage, and fantastic here, you've got a rider in Jake Allen that can win the heat. It's what that other rider can bring, it's what that second rider can turn up with, and Declan Kennedy, a little bit of pressure on him to try and get something out of this one. But Jonas KNUDSEN looked fast in his first ride. Openly said he didn't as well last season as he wanted to. He'll be really pleased with that opening heat. So heat number 6, 21.9. Start marshal walks away. Green light on. Tapes up and away we go. And Sam Masters. Flyer there from, just keeping an eye on Jonas KNUDSEN there, he's at the back still. Sam Masters out front, made a great start off for 2. And at the minute, positive for the Scorpions in second and third. Jake Allen in white on the inside, Declan Kennedy on the outside. They probably could do with riding together, potentially, although Declan looks like he's got some speed in that bike, you know. And he's setting off after Sam Masters, but I think Sam will pull away here. The question will be, can Jonas KNUDSEN do anything from fourth place here to get up in amongst the two Scorpions? Wants to go a little bit deeper into that 3 and 4 potentially. But positive sign is Declan Kennedy looking fast in second place for the away side. That'll be really pleasing for them. Jake Allen potentially now just sat in, securing that second and third for the away side. But it is a win for Sam Masters. Looked fantastic out front. And really close there. No idea who got that second place. It was a Scorpion, but I don't know which one got it. And Jonas KNUDSEN wasn't a million miles away there. But we do know Sam Masters won it. We do know that Jonas KNUDSEN was at the back, so we know it's a 3-3. Let's see if we can scan a replay of that last lap to see what I can give the second place to. Super Sam Masters doing exactly what you'd expect him to do, I believe. Excellent rider at this level. I'm just going to listen out and see if I can hear this. Giving it to Declan Kennedy there. Just see it as it was announced. Yeah, there we go. Look. Although his helmet colour is almost bordering on white for me, but a good second place for Declan Kennedy. And I've said it a couple of times, that'll be really pleasing for David Howe to see him picking up that second place there. Really pleasing. So 24-12, the progressive score, there we go. Sam Masters with a win, Declan Kennedy in second, Jake Allen third, Jonas KNUDSEN at the back. 3-3, just holds that scoreline at a 12-point gap, but it is a 12-point gap, 24-12. Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain coming out in this one. They were on the back end of a 5-1 in their opening heat. They are going to want to do something about that. But they come up against Cameron Heeps in red off the inside, and then Simon Lambert in white off of gate 2. Darryl RITCHINGS, yeah, picked up a point in his first ride, he being blue off gate number 3. And Connor Mountain, he took that third place in their ride, he will be in yellow off gate number 4. So Enley & Sons, Leadwork Specialists, they are our sponsors of heat number 7. And it's a heat where, you know, on experience, you think that it might turn into a whether Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain can get in amongst Cameron Heeps up top. But in Darryl RITCHINGS, there's a rider there who scored a point in his first ride. He'll have a bit of confidence. Coming back after a long time out of the saddle. I'm sure he won't mind saying he shed a few pounds and looks fantastic. He's back to race weight. And is really looking forward to racing again at the National League level of the sport. And an early booking here at championship level. Hoping to impress. So 24-12, Cameron Heeps, Darryl RITCHINGS, Simon Lambert, Connor Mountain takes up on heat number 7, and it looks like a better start from the Scorpions pair, but Cameron Heeps has got himself out front. Keep an eye on Simon Lambert round the boards, and Connor Mountain up the inside, putting it to Cam Heeps. He's really put his pass fantastic from Cameron Heeps. Woo, where'd that come from? I was about to say the Scorpions looking good for a heat advantage in this one, and then Cam put his back wheel out there. Incredible speed, fantastic line, and got himself back round the outside into the lead. Excellent stuff from Cameron Heeps. He's out front, Simon Lambert second, Connor Mountain third, Darryl RITCHINGS just a little bit off in this one at the back, but learning as he's going. But that's off Cameron Heeps out front. That's a phenomenal turn. I was just about to big up the Scorpions pair for looking to get a race win. Cameron Heeps had other ideas into the last lap. Cameron Heeps out front, Simon Lambert second, Connor Mountain up the inside in third at the moment. Darryl RITCHINGS at the back. Looks like it's going to be a share of the spoils in this one. Cameron Heeps, the man to talk about. He gets the win. Connor Mountain in second, Simon Lambert in third. Great first lap, that one. Cameron Heeps with a fantastic win. Comes round, take the win, take the applause. First race win of the season. Cameron Heeps with the win for Oxford. Connor Mountain, he took that second spot for Scunthorpe. Simon Lambert in third. Them two were together for the entire race. And Darryl RITCHINGS at the back for Oxford in that one. So 3-3, 27-15 the progressive score. Keeps it at that 12-point gap. They see it from the start here. And again, the Scunthorpe pair made a good gate that time. Darryl RITCHINGS spinning up there maybe a little bit, but Cam up the inside. But just keep an eye, get sandwich here. Simon Lambert around the outside. Connor Mountain up the inside, and you're thinking, here we go, Scunthorpe game on. Cam's like, nah, not having any of that. Back wheel in the dirt. Wow, got some serious drive, and that's what you can do on turn 4. If you put your back wheel in the right spot, you get that run, you get that line. And Cam, great knowledge of this track from last season, used it to his advantage there. But fair play, Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain. They made a fist of it. So you can see the points along the bottom, 12, 12 and 11 from those outside 3 gate positions. We've had a win off of every gate. It's pretty even, as it tends to be this season so far from what we've seen. But will that switch, will it become more prominent? Because obviously when the riders come down the home straight, they tend to ride wider, so they don't run over 1 and 2 as much. There. Scunthorpe end of the pits. Rock it off, turn the wheel around, fresh edge. So yeah, it's a little note across the bottom of the screen there. Tonight's meeting is copyright and belongs to Oxford Speedway TV. If you've bought it, thank you very much. If you're watching it from an illegal distribution, you're in the wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. You're not helping Speedway in any way, shape or form. So please buy the stream for £12. What can you get for £12 nowadays? Can you get Costa on a cake for £12? £12.99. There or thereabouts. So if you have bought it tonight, thank you very much for doing so. It all contributes, it all helps. Gives me something to do when I come. As much as I'd be happy to sit down there with not like I drink beer at the minute, but I'd have a coffee and fill in my programme. I really do enjoy this. Bringing in the commentary. So yeah, a bit of downtime for the riders here while we've got the grader out. Do a bit of work, even out the shale, drag a bit in off of the air fence. On turns 4 and 2, drag the dirt in a little bit. So Oxford will be really happy. They've got that 12-point gap. What have we seen? We've seen them hammer in 3 5-1s. And we've had 4 3-3, so 4 drawn heats. So that'll be something for Scunthorpe to take. But they've just got to stop those 5-1 hits. And again, it's hard when you're at an array track and you're looking at the programme. Where can we eat into this scoreline a little bit? It's hard because you've got Cameron Heeps, you've got Sam Masters, you've got those riders that keep reappearing on the programme. It makes it incredibly difficult. But in Steve Worrall, they've got a rider that is worth more than his 2 points. That's Jonas KNUDSEN, is it? Yeah, it's a little bit power, a little bit clutch work for him. So a paid win first time out for Jonas, and then a last place. But it was on the pace, it was quite close, those 3 coming over the finish line in that one. Killeen and Declan Kennedy. Pleasing for the away side, as I've said. Declan Kennedy, nice second place for him. So yeah, just 5 minutes for mechanics to do a bit of work, adjust anything they need to. The carb cover going back on. So do a little bit of work, do what they need to do. Can't see the water bowser, so I don't think they're going to put any water down on the track at the moment. They are just trying to even the shade out a little bit. So Luke Killeen was an interesting one the other day. He had a couple of last places and didn't look like he had much pace, and then all of a sudden he came out in the heat that we saw previously where he got the better of Danny King. And I said to him tonight, well, what did you do? What did you change on the bike? And he basically dropped a tooth. So he changed the sprocket, he changed the gear inside, sprocket on the back wheel, and he said he shortened the bike a little bit. So it just gave him the drive, it just gave him that speed. And it's just that a little thing that they can change that makes such a huge difference. And it's stick or twist, because he could have done that and it might have made no difference at all. And sometimes you do it and it works, and boom, game on. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We just got the grader out, so let's take in another heat from earlier on in this season. Heat number 12. Charles Wright, he'll be off the inside in red for Oxford. Next to him, Chris Harris in yellow. Luke Killeen blue for Oxford off of gate 3. And Kingsland Stars skipper Nikolai Clint going off of gate number 4 with the white helmet colour on. 28-38. Star Marshall walks away. Tapes go up and away we go. Off the inside, looks like Charles Wright's made a beauty. Tight going in amongst the other three. Into second place comes Chris Harris. Third place at the moment is Nikolai Clint. Luke Killeen, what's he got? Can he get up there and challenge Nikolai Clint for third place? But keep an eye on the battle out front. Bomber's putting it out there, he's going big. Just can't make that run work like it hasn't, but he's going to carry the speed down. Charles has got to be careful because Bomber will look to go as deep as he possibly can. Charles has got 2 big laps ahead of him here. Chris is working every inch of that track. Charles moves out again and shuts that door, but up the inside, no run there for Bomber. He had a look, he had a go, and that possibly has just scrubbed off the speed going into the last lap, but don't write him off. Charles right out front looking to get a win on the night for the first time. It looks like he's going to get that now. Chris Harris has just dropped away a little bit, but a fantastic battle for 3 laps. Charles Wright with the win. Chris Harris second. Nikolai Clint comfortable in third. Luke Killeen put it to him for the first lap or so, but then just dropped away. So there's the confirmed result. Charles Wright with the win. Chris Harris with a battle in second. Nikolai Clint's comfortable third. And Luke Killeen at the back. 3-3. See the red sky there. We've had a lovely sunset over the view that I've got here, and there's the old Mini Cooper on the top there. It's always there. Never goes anywhere, that Mini Cooper. I do wonder how they got it there. There's Luke Killeen. Great to see him scoring some points. A rider that Oxford knew was going to come good. You know, it's always tough when you step up into that top league. And Luke's still very early in his career. A popular rider here. Top guy. And yeah, nice to see him scoring some points. So in terms of championship level of racing so far this season, we've obviously seen the pairs meeting, which was won fantastically again by Redcar. They seem to monopolise that meeting, with Paul pushing them all the way. And then we saw Chris Harris finally pick up a CLRC win after a few years of trying. Carl Howe was second, Stevie Worrall was third in that one, Charles Wright fourth. So that was a really good meeting up at Scunthorpe. So well done to Workington for the pairs and Scunthorpe for the CLRC. 2 very well hosted meetings. And I'm going to give a big shout out here. This Sunday, 13th, the Kent Eagles go at it for the first time. And they're up against Leicester Fox Cubs in the National Trophy. 12 o'clock start there. You can see the likes of Nathan Ablett, Vinnie Ford, Ben Morley, great riders, those 3 there for the Kent side. And William Cairns, Ace Piper, Sonny Springer. They'll be headlining for the away side, the Leicester Fox Cubs. So hats off to everyone at Kent for getting that team back on track. A little bit of a combo with Kent and Eastbourne. Wonderful to see. I wish them all the very best. I will be down there to watch that at some point this season. And I wish them all the best for Sunday in that opening meeting with Dave Floppy Norris in the mix down there as well. So back to where we are tonight. We're on Heat 8. We are Luke Killeen on the inside in blue. We're Zaine Kennedy yellow, gate 2. We're Jonas KNUDSEN red off gate 3. And we are Luke Harrison in white off of gate number 4. So running to programme in this one. Zaine Kennedy's had a win so far. Luke Killeen's had a couple of second places. Jonas KNUDSEN's had a paid second place, so it should be a competitive heat. Abingdon Beds are sponsoring the programme of this heat. Let's see what these boys can deliver. Turning point of the meeting. If Scunthorpe can get anything out of this and just drag that scoreline a little bit closer, it will bode well for the remainder of the meeting. If Luke and Jonas can, Luke Killeen can jump out the start, then it could prove pivotal. Prove a gap too far potentially. So we're 5 seconds away. It's the closest we've got to the 2 minutes. Start Marshall, arms out, he's off, he's happy. Referee's ready to go. Heat number 8, and away we go. And I tell you what, Zaine Kennedy's made a great start. Keep an eye all the way around the outside. What? Close going down the back straight, but the Scorpions have got themselves out front here. Luke Harrison, Zaine Kennedy, can they work together? Luke Harrison out front, Zaine Kennedy second. Luke Killeen's the one with the battle at the minute in third. Can he get up in amongst it and break that 5-1, or is this going to be a big 5-1 for the away side? Jonas KNUDSEN just a little bit adrift at the back at the minute, but the Scunthorpe boys looking good. really feisty first turn there. Got themselves out front. Luke Killeen, he's the man. Can he make a difference in this one? Can he break this 5-1, get a 4-2 for the home side? Can Zaine Kennedy? Luke Killeen looks up the inside, comes in pretty hot. He'll keep the run going up the inside. Zaine Kennedy just gets his wheels in line. 2 turns left. Luke's going to have to look a little bit wider. Luke, he's not going to make it work. Scunthorpe, they hit back in Heat 8 with a big 5-1. Luke Harrison, Zaine Kennedy, Luke Killeen is our finishing order. So, potentially on the nature of the meeting, it's what we needed to keep it close. It's not what Oxford would have wanted at all, but it is the first 5-1 heat advantage for the away side. Back wheel celebration for Luke Harrison and Zaine Kennedy. And that'll be pleasing from a Scunthorpe perspective. There it is, Luke Harrison with the win, Zaine Kennedy in second. Luke Killeen tried. He was on the back wheel of Zaine but couldn't get up in amongst it. So it was a 5-1 to the away side. 28-20 the progressive score. Abingdon Beds were our sponsors there of heat number 8. And you can see tail of the tapes. Just keep an eye on that first turn. Rodeo going up into the first turn there from Zaine Kennedy, but it was that speed there from Luke. Where did he find that from? Slingshot around the outside into the lead. Took everybody by surprise a little bit, I think. And that's where Luke Killeen comes under his teammate to set after. So after an opening race paid win for Jonas KNUDSEN, it is a couple of last places. Luke Killeen's with Jamie Lee on the decks as always. Luke Killeen's picked up points in all of his rides so far. But again, slightly pleasing signs for the away side. They'll be happy with that. Make sure I get my Kennedys the right way around as Declan comes out in this one. But it is the home side's 5-1 pairing so far. 2 races for Dan Gilkes and Jordan Jenkins, 2 5-1s. Can they carry that form on in this one? Here we go with heat number 9, sponsored by SD Timo Car Sales. You're going to see Dan Gilkes off the inside, 2 wins so far for him. Blue off gate number 1. Jake Allen, 4 paid 5 for him so far. He'll be in white off for gate number 2. Jordan Jenkins, 2 paid wins for him. He'll be in red off of gate 3. And Declan Kennedy, really good second ride for him. He's going to be in yellow off of the outside for Scunthorpe. 28-20. Game on, shall we say? Are we going to see a third 5-1 of the evening from the home side engine room of Dan Gilkes and Jordan Jenkins? Or can Jake Allen, winning his first ride, third in his second ride, can he split that pair? Either make the trap and get out front? Let's see. Heat number 9. Away from the start, away they go, and it is Jake Allen in white who's got to that first turn first. Keep an eye on Jordan Jenkins around the outside into first place. Dan Gilkes, big move up the inside. Brave, can he hold it or will it come back at him? No, he's held that. Jake Allen. Space of a lap went from the front to third place. And this dynamite duo for Oxford tonight, they're a slightly different way around, but it's the same answer. On a 5-1, but Jake Allen looks quick in third place. Can he get up and challenge Dan Gilkes in second? Declan Kennedy, oh, he's just locked up there, stayed on. Locked up, but stayed on. Oxford boys out front. Dan Gilkes goes so fast into turn 3, carrying bags of speed, looking fast. Sat behind his teammate. Looks like he wants to get ahead of his teammate at the minute. They just need to work together here, the Oxford pair. Doesn't matter who wins, doesn't matter who comes second. It is right back at you, 5-1 from Oxford. Jordan Jenkins with the win. Dan Gilkes in second. Jake Allen try as he might. Couldn't get it back in amongst it. So that 5-1 advantage that they took in the last one wiped out straight away by the home side. And that pairing tonight, what can you say? Unbeaten, the pair of them. Dan Gilkes and Jordan Jenkins, hats off to you two. Dan says it on his back wheel. Off go the flares. 5-1 to the home side. Jordan Jenkins with a win in red. Dan Gilkes second blue. Jake Allen battling all the way in white in third, and Declan Kennedy couldn't score in that one. So 5-1, 33-21. There's that 12-point gap again. So yeah, keep an eye on Jake Allen in white. He makes a great start, Jake. Tiny flinch, but nothing massive there. So yeah, Jake's in front here. Keep an eye on Jordan. He gets that run around the outside, wheels in line, but it's this big move from Dan Gilkes there. Jake seemed to just turn earlier than Dan, and Dan just got that run up the inside. I thought Jake might repay the compliment, but Dan was brave, stuck to his line, came back around the outside to hold on for a 5-1. 4 5-1s to the home side so far tonight, and 3 of them from Jordan Jenkins and Dan Gilkes. So are we going to run to programme? We might be seeing a change here, potentially. Sam Masters is out on track, as is Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain, but we've got nobody in blue, and it's supposed to be Jonas KNUDSEN, who's run a couple of lasts after a very positive second in his first ride. So we'll see who comes out here. There's Connor Mountain, he's getting himself ready. He's having a dig. Yeah, it's Jonas KNUDSEN. So we're going to programme with Peter Schroeck here. So Jonas KNUDSEN, blue on the inside for Oxford. Connor Mountain, yellow, gate number 2 for Scunthorpe. Sam Masters, red, unbeaten so far. He'll be off gate number 3 for Oxford. And Simon Lambert, 1 paid 2 for him. He'll be in white off the outside for the Scunthorpe Scorpions. County Plumbing Supplies, power the side here. They're sponsors of heat number 10. Still a mixed bag with the gate stats. It's still, you know, anything. No, we've had no winner off of gate number 1. Sorry, Jonas. Oh yeah, so I tell a lie, we did. Cameron Heeps did, didn't he? Cameron did. Heat number 7. So we've had gate winners off every gate. Anything is possible. Here we go then. Ominous for the away side with Sam Masters at tapes, but let's see what they can do. Heat number 10, tapes up and away we go. And Jonas KNUDSEN, he's made a cracker off of gate number 1. Sam Masters, will he get that run around the outside? Yes, he does. He rides that line, and that'll probably propel him all the way around Jonas KNUDSEN into turns 3 and 4 here. Jonas KNUDSEN on the inside in blue, Sam Masters outside in red. Will those two team ride it home? Sam's looking, keeping an eye on Jonas KNUDSEN. Simon Lambert and Connor Mountain just getting over the top of each other, tripping each other up a tiny bit. Someone's got a set chase for Jonas KNUDSEN. Looks like it could be Simon Lambert, who's going a bit deeper out there into the heavy stuff. He's got the speed, he's getting the traction. You can see that. He's going to carry that run on into 3 and 4 here. Sam Masters is looking though. Sam Masters is signalling to Jonas KNUDSEN where to go. They're all over the back of Jonas here. If he hangs on to this, it's going to be a valiant effort. He's got Simon Lambert, 1 lap to go, 1 corner to go. Simon Lambert around the outside, Connor Mountain at the inside. Can Jonas KNUDSEN hold on to race to the line? Yes, he does. All 4 riders, in the words of Dave Lanning, blanket over all 4 there as they came over the start-finish line. Cracking heat. You can see Sam Masters gesturing all the way through that heat of his teammate where to go. And that's tricky sometimes when you've got so much speed and you could comfortably pull away from your teammate. So it was a 5-1, but an entertaining heat nonetheless. And another heat win. Big 5-1 for the home side. And you want to know what type of captain Sam Masters is? That's what type of captain Sam Masters is. Kept an eye out for his teammate. Was off the throttle for a period of that race. And again, he couldn't drop too far back into the mix, otherwise he was there to be shot at. But it was a win for Sam Masters. It was a 2nd place for Jonas KNUDSEN. Connor Mountain and Simon Lambert, fair play, threw everything at that, but just could not get themselves up into 2nd place. I thought we were going to have a grandstand last corner, but Jonas KNUDSEN held on. 5-1 to the Oxford Cheetahs. That makes the progressive score 38-22, and it is just starting to creep away now from the away side. There's the final turn. And you know, I think Jonas, he played that wise on that last turn. Almost cut the run off of Connor Mountain. Excuse me while I fill my programme in there. Another 5-1. That's the difference. That's the difference at the minute. Sam Masters, Dan Gilkes, Jordan Jenkins, well, they all remain unbeaten. When we get into the interval after this heat, we'll have a slightly extended grading break. We'll have a look at the scores. We'll run through the scorecards for you. Although if you're like me and you sat home, even if you didn't have a scorecard or a programme, I'd still be writing all this down. That's the Speedway stato within me. So you probably know what's going on as well as I do. We are going to see Steve Worrall out here. 2 third places for Steve. He's not going to be happy with that. He's going to want to make a change, make a difference in this one. And Oxford are going to give Darryl RITCHINGS his 3rd ride, so he will remain on the outside there. Scored 1 point from his 2 rides so far, Darryl. Big night for him. And again with the scoreline at 38-22, he's got to have 3. Everyone's got to have 3 rides anyway. Steve Worrall, just a bit of work on that bike. CFS sponsored Steve Worrall still. Here we go then. Heat number 11. Steve Worrall, white off the inside for Scunthorpe. Next to him, Cameron Heeps in red, winner last time out. He'll be off gate number 2. Luke Harrison, winner last time out. Fantastic heat from him it was. He'll be in yellow off gate number 3. And Darryl RITCHINGS, 1 paid 2 for him so far. He will be in blue off of gate number 4. Smiths of Bletchingley, they're our sponsors of Heat 11. And we're very grateful for them for their sponsorship. So here we go, Heat 11. Cameron Heeps, Darryl RITCHINGS, Steve Worrall, Luke Harrison. Luke was fantastically quick in his last race, Luke Harrison. Scunthorpe will be hoping he can repeat that. And the tapes go up on heat number 11. And it is Steve Worrall. Cameron Heeps has taken that wider line. Can he make it work? He's done it, as his teammates have done in the last 2 heats. But keep an eye on Steve Worrall. He's going to repay that. Cam is really deep around the outside. Darryl RITCHINGS has come off at the back, but he's okay. He's up and he's on the centre green. Cam Heeps and Steve Worrall cracking first lap from them 2. Cameron round the outside, didn't let off. I thought Steve was going to put it back at him, but Cam stayed brave, a bit like Dan Gilkes in the previous heat. And now he's got himself out front. What has Steve Worrall got? He's got anything in the tank to catch up and challenge Cam for the win. Luke Harrison's going to comfortably sail home for a 3rd place. There's no one to challenge him with Darryl coming off at the back. 1 lap to go. Cam Heeps looking pretty comfortable out front. So he's going to get his 2nd win on the spin. Steve Worrall comfortably in 2nd. Luke Harrison comfortably in 3rd. Off go the flares on the centre green for Cameron Heeps. It's a race win for him. 2nd of the night for Cam Heeps. It wasn't easy though. Steve Worrall made that difficult on the opening lap. Gave Cam Heeps the racing room around turns 3 and 4. Enabled Cam to ride that wide line, the deep stuff. So there we go, Cameron Heeps with the win, Steve Worrall in 2nd, Luke Harrison in 3rd. Darryl RITCHINGS slipped off at the back, thankfully he was okay though. He's pushing his bike back to the pits. It was a 3-3, 41-25. And the Cheetahs all but home and dry in terms of the result. Here we can see it from the start. Red and white, that was the Cam and Steve. Steve made a great start off the inside, but if you can just get your back wheel in line like the boys have done in the last couple of heats, Cameron Heeps just gets that run around the outside. Steve lifts a little bit, that would have taken a bit of the momentum away, but it's here. Steve could go right out and shut that door, but he doesn't. Safe rider Steve. Cam's just in the right spot, riding the right line. Nothing you can do about that. If a rider's got their senses in that right position. So there we go, there's some gate stats. Again, even spread of points, pretty much across the board. The middle gate's proving more prominent in terms of point scoring, but we've got a gate winner off of everyone. 3, 4 and 2, they're the ones that have given us the majority of the heat wins. Gate 1 a tough place to be at the minute, so let's just run through the scorecards for you. And it's a nice picture for Oxford. Sam Masters unbeaten, 9 points for him so far. Jonas, he's got 4, played 6, which on his home debut, be really happy with that. 2 5-1s in there. Jordan Jenkins unbeaten, 7 paid 9. Dan Gilkes unbeaten, 8 paid 9. Cam Heeps 7+1, just dropped the point there, got the points. And then Darryl RITCHINGS got 3rd place in his opening ride. And Luke Killeen 5 from his 3 rides, which again, confidence boosting for him. So the home side picture's looking pretty good. And yeah, a few more last places for the away side. Steve Worrall would want a bit more than 4 points, but it is 4 for him. Luke Harrison, he's got 4 as well. Great win for him in his 3rd ride. Simon Lambert, just a point. Probably would like a few more than that. Connor Mountain, 4 for him. Jake Allen started off with a win. A couple of 3rd places since. And then down at the bottom, the Kennedy brothers. 2 points for Declan on his debut, and a solid 5 paid 6 from Zaine. He'd be happy with that. He's been involved in that 5-1, involved in a race win, and then just a duck in the middle of it. So we will just have a little interval while they are, again, no water bowser, so no water going down, but the grader is out. So what we'll do, just to keep entertained for another minute or so, we'll give you a heat from one of the Spires meetings that we've already had here this season. He's going to be off the inside. Great night for him so far for Ipswich, 9 points in yellow. Charles Wright, 5 paid 6 in red off of gate number 2. Adam Ellis, 4 paid 5 in white for Ipswich off of gate number 3. And Eric Riss, he's the tax sub coming for Luke Killeen. He'll be in blue off the outside with a huge 14 points to his name. Star Marshal's got him in position. The green light is on. It's a big heat number 12. Tapes go up and away we go. Charles Wright's missed it. Eric Riss hasn't. Is he going to get the run? Dan Thompson, though, across track. Eric Riss up the inside into 1st place. Charles Wright in 3rd at the moment. Adam Ellis is going big. Oh, Charles Wright, what a move up the inside of Dan Thompson into 2nd place. But Dan still is probably in the good position to come back around the outside of him. Can Charles hold it? No, Dan Thompson comes over the top. Charles Wright's going to have to go again to get back into that 2nd place, and he's done it straight away. What a couple of laps. Dan Thompson into 3rd, yep, just misses the back wheel of Charles Wright. Adam Ellis is all over the track at the back, but not getting any forward traction to get up amongst it. We've got a lap to go. I'm already out of breath. Eric Riss out front in blue. Charles Wright in 2nd. The tax sub is working here. Dan Thompson, yeah, he's gone across track there on turns 1 and 2. That's but paid to his challenge. It's a big 5-1. It's what the Spires needed. Eric Riss with the win. Charles Wright in 2nd. Dan Thompson 3rd. And Adam Ellis at the back. Cracking heat, that one. Charles Wright doing the business in 2nd place. Having to pass and repass Dan Thompson. So there you have it. Big 5-1 for the home side. Eric Riss takes the win. Charles Wright, superb 2nd place. Worked really hard to get ahead of Dan Thompson. Eric Riss has started the season in great form for the Spires, it's fair to say. He's outstanding in the last home meeting here, picked up 20 points. So just a few of the cheaters there on screen with Peter Schroeck, the team manager. And the temperature outside has dropped. It's fair to say it has dropped. It was lovely here this afternoon. A lot of people wearing the t-shirts. Now that sun's completely dropped off. It is freezing. And at which point we'd just like to say hello to Paul, who I know can hear me, our cameraman. He's out there wearing his shorts. He's a very brave man. Is it brave? I'm sure he's brave. A bit foolish there, Paul. Never mind, mate. Keep moving. Just keep walking and moving. There we go. Dave Howe, Steve Worrall. Tough one for Scunthorpe, you know, and it's early season for a lot of these riders. That's what we have to remember. That's what we have to take into consideration. That it is very early for them. A lot of these it's the first competitive laps they're doing, and I think as a team manager and as a club, you look and you take the positives from this. You know, you look at Zaine Kennedy, great. You know, two really good heats from him. Declan Kennedy, I'm really impressed with. He looks on the pace. He looks quick. He's picked up a solid 2nd place. There's things to build on. Jake Allen, yeah, they've got a good side there, Scunthorpe, and I'm sure they'll come good as the season ticks on. But in terms of the Cheetahs, they're going to be really happy at this point. So yeah, thanks again for watching us tonight, and hope you're enjoying the stream. A couple of good races the boys have chucked in. Racing's quite condensed, quite close. No one's really. There's been a few strung out heats, but you know, we've seen a couple of close ones as well, which is terrific. Thank you for joining us. We will be covering all of the home meetings here, unless of course the British Speedway Network or it's here in town, at which point we will have a night off, and we'll watch our Speedway. Well, I might be on BSN duty, and actually Andy and Paul, everybody will be working when BSN are here, so forget that comment. We'll still be working. Andy will actually be outside in the cold. Whereas at the minute we're inside in the warm. So yeah, pin with us. We're grateful to have you watching. Hope you're enjoying it. Simon Lambert, he's not enjoying it so far. He'll be looking for a couple more points. I think I remember talking to him here last year and he said it's not a track that he overly enjoys. You know, but it's like anyway, you make the gate, you get yourself out front, and it's so much easier when you miss the start. You've got work to do, it proves more difficult. So yeah, just a shout out to SD Timo Car Sales, Bet Goodwin and the Real Mini Company. They're our headline sponsors of our Cheetahs, Spars and Chargers this season. We're really grateful for having them guys on board. Just a little look back to last season, why we have this little break. Yeah, you can tell it's cold. Look at Luke, he's wrapped up there. You could do with a bigger coat than that, I think, Luke. You're underestimated. So last year, Oxford, they finished second in the league in the Championship, and Scunthorpe finished third. So really good returns for those two sides. Oxford home form was terrific. They won seven of their home meetings last year, and Scunthorpe won 2 on the road and lost 6. But I think that was a familiar picture from sides. So nobody was going away from home and beating everybody. So that's how they managed to get up into those playoffs. At home here last year, Oxford, they hit 50 points 7 times out of 8 in their home meetings. So they were pretty dominant at home. But fair play to Scunthorpe, half of their meetings away they clocked more than 40 points. So they were always in and around getting a result or something out of the meetings. And of course, if you can run sides close away from home, if you can keep that scoreline close, whether it's knockout cup over 2 legs or whether it's the league, then you've got a chance of getting over the line in a 2-leg meeting or getting that aggregate point. So yeah, a little bit of a tail of the tape of last year, but both these sides are going to want to, you want to have a run in the cup as well as the league, because it just gives more track time to all your riders. And again, for the likes of Mitch McDermott when he's back in the side, Declan Kennedy, these riders that are new to the UK, it'll just give them more track time and more opportunity to get out and race and learn. So Knockout Cup, Scunthorpe 2023, they won this title. Connor Mountain would have been in the side that day. Simon Lambert definitely in the side that day. They won the KO Cup with Scunthorpe. It was a great achievement from them. A couple of new faces in their side this season. So it's a tough one tonight for Oxford. Good to see the crowd in. But Oxford United are playing tonight at home, and they've got a sellout there tonight. So I think it's one of those nights where people have had to make a decision on whether they take in the football or the Speedway. I think a few would have taken in the football. But again, when you consider this club hasn't been here for so long, made an incredible return to the sport, it's great to see that they've got a core support here, come what may. And they are supporting the club tonight. Oxford worked really hard to market in the local area. There's Jordan Jenkins, what a night he's having. He was really good. I was working with British Speedway Network up at Birmingham on Monday, and he was in fine form that night as well for Ipswich. A couple of race wins, and he's carried that on this evening, unbeaten so far by an opponent. And he's out in the next heat with Luke Killeen, Jordan Jenkins. So the dynamite duo of Dan and Jordan. They may find themselves in heat 15 potentially. But they'll have different team partner in their last rides. Jordan Jenkins we have Luke Killeen and Dan Gilkes. It's programmed for Darryl RITCHINGS, but it may well be Luke Killeen in that one as well, depending on which way Peter Schroeck would like to play it. So a bit of a clean off. Dan Gilkes' sponsors there. If your name's on that list and you're watching at home, good on you for supporting a rider and giving him a little bit. Incredibly expensive sport this. Anything that you can support and provide is gratefully received, I know. So we've got a bit of bike movement. We're still blaring out Living on a Prayer over the speakers. The tractor has gone back in. Motor Jamie Courtney, he's out of the tractor. Wayne Hutt, he's not in the Bowser. So without further ado, we are going to move on with this meeting. What carries on over the TA Tannoy? We got 12, 13, 4 heats to go. Scunthorpe are going to be looking just to stem that flow. There's a 16-point gap at the minute. They're not going to want that to get any bigger, or it could be mission impossible when they welcome Oxford back up to the Eddie Wright Raceway. So I think we're going to see Zaine Kennedy. Zaine, so he's going to swap in this one. So Declan Kennedy will come out, and it will be Zaine Kennedy. And again, it's probably not a bad move. Declan's had 3 rides. He's picked up a good, solid second place and has looked quick. But Zaine has a win, a paid win. So no real surprise there to see that switch. I'm sure his brother won't mind. I'm sure he'll half the money with whatever he gets in this heat. We shall see. Riders are at tips for heat number 12. Colin Perkins Property Maintenance, he's our sponsor of heat number 12, and that will see the reserve switch Zaine Kennedy in for his brother Declan off the inside in yellow for Scunthorpe. Jordan Jenkins unbeaten so far, he's in red off of gate number 2. Simon Lambert white, he'll be off gate 3 for Scunthorpe, and Luke Killeen, solid 5-point return from reserve for him, he will be in blue off of gate number 4. Riders at tapes very early, very keen to get out there, probably freezing, stood in the pits. Still got a minute or so on the clock to count down. The referee doesn't have to wait for the 2 minutes to end, but that's the 2 minutes the riders have got to garden, get their rut ready, do whatever they need to do at the start, get the headspace ready. 25 seconds and counting. So Jordan Jenkins and Luke Killeen up against Simon Lambert and Zaine Kennedy in for Declan in this one. 16-point gap. What can Scunthorpe do in these last 4 heats? Let's see, starting with heat number 12. Tapes up and away we go. And again, Zaine Kennedy lifts going into the first turn. Jordan Jenkins has moved out wide, stopping the run of Simon Lambert, but he's looked up the inside Simon and he's put a big move in on Jordan Jenkins and has moved him out wide, but only into the grip. Keep an eye on Luke Killeen. He's at the back, he's going to run in a bit deeper, try and get that run around a wider line. But at the minute, Zaine Kennedy's really getting some pull out of that machine as he's exiting the corners. Jordan Jenkins once again finds himself out front. The question is, can the Scorpions get up to challenge him? I don't think they can. The question is, can Luke Killeen get up to challenge the Scorpions? Possibly. He's going in deeper, he's riding a wide line, he's really trying. Simon Lambert just getting in a little bit of bother as we enter the last lap. Luke Killeen's, is he close enough? I'm not sure he is. I think the Scorpions are going to pack in here for a 3-3. But Luke's gone for one last big move if the camera picks it up. Simon Lambert shows his experience, run to the line. I think Simon Lambert just hold on there. We just managed to catch the back end of that heat there. We didn't bother with you, Jordan, you was out front. Just keep an eye. Jordan's on his own there. Look, there is a race going on here, I promise. There, as they come into shot, Simon Lambert moves across, stopping the run of Luke Killeen. And on that run to the line, I think Simon Lambert holds on. Yeah, he does. Simon Lambert holds on to split the heat. Good effort from Luke Killeen. Zaine Kennedy was getting loads of lift and drive off of that bike as that heat was going on. Unbeaten Jordan Jenkins takes the win for Oxford. Zaine Kennedy in second for Scunthorpe. Simon Lambert held on to that 3rd place. Always charging Luke Killeen, who didn't give up for the 4 laps, but it was a 3-3. That makes it 44-28 on the night. We are going to get to heat 15 and it's only going to be half time. So Scunthorpe still got something to play for. Yeah, let's see that run to line. Just see watch Simon Lambert come into shot here. He goes right across the corner. Whether he meant it or not, I don't know, but it did stop the run of Luke. Meant Luke had to look back up the inside to try something, but couldn't make it stick. So first time tonight Luke Killeen has failed to score, but another point scoring return from Zaine Kennedy. Very pleasing for the away side. He's their rider of the night so far, you would say. And again, I was up at Scunthorpe a couple of seasons ago when he had that awful crash. Zaine was airlifted off. Thankfully, no ill effects of that. Here we go then. Who doesn't love Heat 13, sponsored by Jamie Lee, Sound Enterprises. Super Sam Masters off the inside in red for Oxford. Super Stevie Worrall, he's in white off of gate number 2 for Scunthorpe. Cameron Heeps, blue, he's super as well. 7 paid 1 for him, blue off of gate number 3. And very good night for Super Jake Allen. They're all super. 5+1 in yellow off the outside. Let's see what heat 13, I'm ahead of myself. Heat 13 brings us. Really looking forward to this one. Always love a heat 13. And as I've said in the show already a couple of times, this was a dynamite pairing for Oxford last year. I think they rattled in 18 or 19. I worked out 5-1s last season across all competitions. So they know each other's style. They know how to ride with each other. But in Jake Allen and Steve Worrall, they've got 2 riders on their day. Can beat anybody. So let's hope we have a good heat here. Jamie Lee Sound Enterprises. Jamie Lee's always on the centre green down here, putting on a bit of a show. Playing some good tunes, keeping everyone entertained. But it's down to these 4 to give us some entertainment. Sam Masters, Cameron Heeps, Steve Worrall, Jake Allen, Heat 13, 4 top riders. Let's see what they deliver. And it's an even break. Sam Masters and Steve Worrall up 2 wheels on the line there from Sam Masters. Steve Worrall in second. Cam Heeps gets over the top of Jake Allen, but Jake's got the run up the inside. Keep an eye on Cam. He's done it already tonight. Is he going to do it again? Nah, Steve Worrall quick coming off that curb. Sam Masters out front. Cam Heeps all over the back. Trying down the outside. Steve Worrall shuts the door again, but Cam's got that line round the boards. He's used it to great effect already tonight. Steve Worrall keeping second place though. Cam changes foot up the inside. Can't make it work at the minute. Jake Allen not in amongst the points in this one. Sam Masters, well, he's got it in the bag. The battle is for second. It's Steve Worrall who's now moved to that wider line. Cam Heeps in third. Jake Allen at the back. It's settled down now just a tiny bit. Looks like we're going to get a 4-2 to the home side here. The meeting's done and dusted in terms of the win. Sam Masters takes the win. Steve Worrall second. Cameron Heeps in third. And Jake Allen just a spectator in that one. He comes home in 4th place. 4-2 to the home side. Again, close throughout, without any real overtaking. But it extends it to an 18-point gap now. And Sam Masters, 4 races, 4 wins. On fantastic form. Cameron Heeps had a point to his tally. Steve Worrall with another second place. Unfortunately, Jake Allen just couldn't get in amongst it there. There we have it. Sam Masters with a win for Oxford. Steve Worrall second for Scunthorpe. Cameron Heeps third for Oxford. Jake Allen 4th for Scunthorpe. 4-2 to the home side. 48-30 the progressive score. The victory is well and truly in the bag for the home side. It's a good start off the inside. A real battle between Sam Masters and Steve Worrall into that first turn. But just keep an eye on Sam. I think he did have both wheels on the curb, which is obviously allowed. That back wheel was just kissing the curb, but nowhere near as much as I thought. The naked eye first time out. You can obviously put your front wheel over the curb if the curb allows you to do it, which it does here at Oxford. Cam Heeps was trying to make the outside line work, but Steve was quicker in that one. He looked like he had a lot more speed, and he was able to hold his own, whether it was on the inside or like here, he's riding nice and tight. Middle of the track, just stopping that run from Cam there. And another second place. So yeah, that is Luke Killeen coming out there in blue. So Darryl RITCHINGS has been sat down in this one, as we'd expect really. He's done his bit. He's got a point on the board, but Luke Killeen, he'll be out in blue. That is Zaine Kennedy in yellow. And it'll be Dan Gilkes and Connor Mountain to boot. 5th ride of the night for Luke Killeen. Here we go then, penultimate heat of this one. Connor Mountain white on the inside for Scunthorpe. Luke Killeen reserve switch for Darryl RITCHINGS, he'll be in blue off of gate number 2. Zaine Kennedy yellow, he'll be in gate 3 for the away side. And Dan Gilkes, unbeaten by an opponent so far, he will be in red off of the outside. Sam Masters, Dan Gilkes, Jordan Jenkins, all unbeaten by an opponent this evening so far. In the last few heats, we've had winners off of gates 1, 2 and 3. AW Mobs, they're our sponsors off heat number 14. 2 to go. Bit of a decision for the managers. I expect we'll see Zaine Kennedy out again in the last one, possibly. Certainly worthy of it, that's for sure. So here we go then. Heat number 14, Dan Gilkes, Luke Killeen in for Darryl RITCHINGS, Connor Mountain, Zaine Kennedy. Green light comes on. And away they go. And it's a good start off the inside from white and blue. Oh, I'm really close there from the Scorpions pair, and I tell you what, that has allowed Dan Gilkes to go all the way around the boards to join Luke Killeen out front. Dan so wide, so fast. Luke Killeen up the inside of him. The two, will they work together or are they just going to go at it separately? Because I tell you what, Connor Mountain looks quick in third. Definitely on the pace, Connor Mountain. And Gilkes just putting that bike nice and wide. But I tell you what, Connor's rode a really sensible inside line there. He's carrying some speed. He's going to be a threat for the remainder of this race. Dan Gilkes just pulled away there just a little bit. Luke Killeen out front, looking comfortable and fast. Luke, Dan Gilkes riding a totally different line. Out wider, he's just now started to pull away from Connor Mountain. And it looks like they are going to hammer home another 5-1 here for the home side. Tough to take this one for the away team, but it is a win for Luke Killeen. He's happy with that. Dan Gilkes in second, Connor Mountain third. Zaine Kennedy there just couldn't get up to challenge. Big 5-1 for Luke Killeen and Dan Gilkes. As they take the applause as they come round, bit of back wheel action, absolutely. From the home side. So there we have it. Luke Killeen with the win. Dan Gilkes followed him all the way home. Connor Mountain for a few laps there was on the pace, but then just drifted away a tiny bit and couldn't challenge, and Zaine Kennedy at the back. 5-1 to Oxford, 53-31. The progressive score. Victory is well and truly in the bag. Here you can see, watch the inside too. Connor Mountain and Luke Killeen, they both trap. And a battle going into that first turn, but look how wide Dan Gilkes is already. And then he just gets that slingshot round the outside. Luke Killeen has a little look, spots him there. Luke on the inside, Dan on the outside, and away they went. Big 5-1 for the home side. Just jot another 3 in Luke Killeen's column there. Connor Mountain was on the pace. He was really looking quick early on in that heat. And then Dan Gilkes just managed to pull away. And again, it's hard when you're chasing, you get a face full of shale, constantly battering you for 4 laps. You can't imagine what that feels like when that's coming at you. And it does slow you down. But so a couple of decisions to be made here from the team managers. David Howe. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes with Stevie Worrall and Jake Allen. Not the capable of those two. Zaine Kennedy is the other shout out tonight. Jake Allen there in the yellow helmet colour. See Dan Paul, thank you. Yeah, there's Jake. Team will be in yellow. We don't know what gate picks yet. We haven't had that information. I'm looking at the gate stats. There we go. Look. What would you go for? It's potentially a 2 and 4 for me, I think. But it is pretty even. Winners off of everywhere, points off of everywhere. As we've had with the Spires meetings this season, pretty even return on the gates. Just a scan at the last few heats, what we had. Gate 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1. It's a lottery. It's a lottery. I imagine the managers have asked the riders that they're putting out, especially obviously Oxford, they get the pick. And Heeps got to be happy, 8 points, 2 wins, 2/3 for him tonight. Stepping up into that heat leader position. And a confidence boosting home win for the side. There's Cam, he's got his blue helmet colour. Are we going to see him again? Good job I didn't write your points down in the programme, Cam. I suppose with a victory like this, it is an opportunity to give somebody else. I mean, looking at the home side, Sam Masters, Jordan Jenkins, Dan Gilkes, Cam Heeps, any of those combo of those two could go in this one. Mason Garrett there, Jordan Jenkins. Doesn't look like Jordan's getting ready to go out, so he's taking his max. 2 wins, 2 paid seconds, 10 paid 12. So I don't know about you, but when I get out of here, I'll get in the car and drive home first, and then I'll have a look how many maximums he's scored in his career. See if he can add this one. Is it his first for the Cheetahs? Did he get one last year? I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't got that many stats in my head. So 1 to go. Paul on the Trainee, he's having a scan, seeing if he can pick up another helmet colour for me. I think it was a blue for Cam Heeps. Jordan, definitely not him. Here's Jonas. Jonas, he'll be pleased with that though. Jonas KNUDSEN, 2 paid wins for him. 4 paid 6, a couple of last places in there as well. Learning as he's going here. New club for him. Jamie Courtney, promoter. Works his socks off, 3 teams. You can't say that this return to Speedway hasn't been a huge success for Oxford. No one is the answer to that. So here we go. Stevie Worrall in white and Jake Allen in yellow, as we kind of expected. So Masters in red, he's going for the big 15. The riders know each other so well. They'll have all ridden together at some point, at some place, I'm sure. Whether in the same side or guests on the continent. Sam Masters in red. On the home side, he's going for the big 15. And it is Cam Heeps in blue. There's Cam, deserves that. So Jordan Jenkins and Dan Gilkes, they're going to take their 4 ride maximums. You need your bike, Cam. He's bikeless at the minute. There it comes. Sam Masters has pulled straight into gate number 1. 1 and 3 for the home side, 2 and 4 for the away side. See Jake Allen coming off of gate 4, Stevie Worrall off of 2. Sam Masters off 1, Cameron Heeps off of 3. The Oxford boys pleased with their night. And there is our last race of the evening, sponsored by Cab Direct. 4 terrific riders. Sam Masters, he's off the inside in red, unbeaten so far for Oxford. Steve Worrall, 6 points for him, 2 second places he's had, he's improved as the night gone on. He's in white off of gate number 2. Cameron Heeps, 8 paid 9 for him, he's in blue off of gate 3. And Jake Allen, I almost feel like Jake deserves a couple more points for his efforts tonight. He's 5 plus 1 from his outings, he's going to be in yellow off of gate number 4. Cab Direct, they sponsor this Maxi Cab Knockout Cup Heat 15 here at the Bet Goodwin Stadium. The referee's given us 35 seconds when JARVIS has had a really easy evening this evening. He'll be happy with that. Let's hope this is a tapes to flag 4-rider battle to see us out on a high. Let's see. 4 fantastic riders. Let's see what they can bring us. Heat 15. Tapes up and away we go. Sam Masters. Steve Worrall's got over the top of him. Watch Jake Allen all the way round the boards into second place. Some work to do for the first time tonight for Sam Masters. He hasn't been touched by anybody this evening. Whoa, really close there as Jake came back across the corner. Cameron Heeps has now straightened up and almost takes Jake Allen out. But I tell you what, Sam's maximum has gone because I don't think he's going to catch Steve Worrall out front. But can he get up into second place in front of Jake Allen? Yeah, good move. Up the inside, lovely line from Sam Masters. Can Jake repay the favour? He's got that line round the outside. No, Sam shuts the door. He's got himself up into second, but I can't see it. A lap to go. Steve Worrall out front, going to get his first win of the evening. Sam Masters in second, Jake Allen third. Cameron Heeps at the back. Well, it's a pleasing way for Steve Worrall and the Scorpions to end. They are going to get a heat advantage here. Steve Worrall with the win. Sam Masters in second. Jake Allen in third, Cameron Heeps at the back, 4-2 for the away side. And a win for Steve Worrall, always capable of that, we know that. And he just puts the first blot on the Sam Masters copybook this evening. And there we have it. Steve Worrall with the win, Sam Masters second, Jake Allen third, Cameron Heeps at the back, 4-2 to the Scunthorpe Scorpions. They edge a couple of points closer, but it is a final score tonight of 55 to the Oxford Cheetahs and 35 to the Scunthorpe Scorpions. There we go, last replay of the start this evening. And the key for Steve Worrall in white off of gate 2 was to make the start and get right over. Look, you can see him. He didn't turn left, but you know, he's made a dive for that inside line. And Jake Allen just rode the boards brilliantly, as we've seen a couple of times this evening. He got himself up, and if anything there, Steve just coming across his line would have just affected the line that he had to take, and that meant he had to come across the corner a little bit towards Sam Masters there, and Cam almost gets it wrong there. And again, that would have affected Jake Allen because he'd been aware of Cam coming across track. But Sam kept it nice and tight, used the inside line up into second, and from there the race settled down. But a good couple of laps to finish in the last heat, and a 55 to 35 half-time lead in this Maxi Cab Knockout Cup quarter-final first leg. Let's run through the scorers for you then. Sam Masters so close to a maximum, but 14 fantastic points for him tonight. Jonas KNUDSEN, pleasing couple of rides in there, 4 paid 6 for him. Jordan Jenkins, maximum man, 10 paid 12. Dan Gilkes, maximum man, 10 paid 12. 3 5-1s for those two this evening. Cameron Heeps failed to score in that last one, but 8+1, solid for him. Darryl RITCHINGS picked a point up on his guest meeting tonight, in for Mitch McDermott. And Luke Killeen, excellent 8 points for him, down at reserve. And for the Scunthorpe Scorpions, well, Richie Worrall grew into the meeting and paid 9 points for him in the end. Luke Harrison, a really good race winning amongst all of that, 4+1 for him. Simon Lambert, a couple of points for him in amongst that. Connor Mountain, 5 points. Again, he looked on the pace in a couple of his heats, Connor, but just couldn't get up in amongst it. Jake Allen, a win first time out, and then a few third places to boot, 6+1. Declan Kennedy, again, he probably deserved a couple more points. Solid second place in one of his rides, but a good base platform for him to build on. And Zaine Kennedy, 7+1, excellent return for him. Back in the side. He rode very well tonight. So there we go. It is a 55-35 scoreline, a 20-point lead for Oxford to take up to Scunthorpe, the Eddie Wright Raceway, in the second leg of this meeting, which I think is next month towards the end. So from everybody here at Oxford TV, Paul, Rob, myself, Andy, it's a big thank you from Oxford TV. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you're watching us again soon. If you can't watch us, get down to track, enjoy your speedway. Congratulations to the Cheetahs, commiserations to the Scorpions. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.